Hey guys, what's up guys? Happy weekend. Oh, I'm so glad it's finally the weekend because it just felt like the longest week ever this week. A lot of things happened and a lot of work arrangements that I had to make. So I'm just finally glad it's the end of the week and finally the weekend and I don't have to think about work or anything anymore. Anyways, I have a few exciting things to tell you guys and that's why I'm making this video. Today I caught up a friend and
You on Prince's Highway for about 2 kilometers.
Okay, thanks GPS. I have officially driven in Melbourne City and I've done a few things that no one else would have done if you're in another state. So I've driven in 3 states now. No, this is my 4th state. So I've driven in Adelaide, I've driven in Sydney and Tasmania, and I would say that Melbourne's probably the most different cities out of all, with a lot of different, the structures and the setup with traffic and everything is very different from other states. So if you haven't driven in Melbourne, then I can't say that you've driven in Australia because you need to come to Melbourne and drive here to know what I mean. But anyways, today is my first day doing a hook turn, which was very exciting. I actually had to look up and feel like a learner driver again and see how to do a hook turn because there are no hook turns in Australia apart from Melbourne City, and being the first time driving in actual Melbourne City. I've driven Victoria before but just not Melbourne City. I have never done a hook turn in my life.
In 300 meters, red light and speed camera ahead, 80 kilometers per hour speed limit.
So I looked it up this morning, refreshed my memory, and thank goodness because I actually had to do a hook turn in the end. But it wasn't actually so bad, and I'm glad there was less traffic being Saturday as well. I think that's less traffic and that helped. But actually it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And then the other thing that was different about Melbourne was I was not expecting this as well, that there were traffic lights on the ramp before you enter a highway. And I was just like, what? One bigger for green, each lane. But anyways, there were cars in front of me and I saw what they were doing and I read the signs and everything, and it's just that before you get into a highway there can only be 2 cars when the traffic light turns green, and only 2 cars can enter the highway at a time. And I didn't know why at first, but then I realized as soon as I entered the highway there were a lot of cars, and I think that was a good reason to control traffic, because otherwise if too many cars enter the highway at the same time, I think it would just be either congested or you would probably end up in an accident. And so I think that's a pretty cool thing to have Melbourne. Very well set up.
In 300 meters, turn right onto Close Street, and then the destination is on your left.
Do anything wrong. Woof. Sorry guys, I'm gonna park my car if I can find a park, because I've finally arrived at my destination. Yes, I found a park. Anyways guys, so those are some crazy things that I noticed in Melbourne City today. The other thing was there were pedestrian crossings right before a roundabout, and I just couldn't understand why there was pedestrian crossings before a roundabout. Like, I think it just kind of stopped the flow of traffic when there's a pedestrian crossing before a roundabout, and I don't think I've noticed that in any other states. So but anyways, yeah, it was exciting driving in the city today. I'm so glad there was no accidents because I was a bit freaking out a bit. But yeah, it's actually not too bad. I think once you get yourself used to like how all the traffic works and the roads and everything. It's actually not too bad for city to drive in. So yeah, that's just my little spiel. I am gonna do a few things this afternoon, but I will talk to you guys soon. I hope you guys find these entertaining as much as I did, and have a really good weekend, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.